welcome. Today we're going to be working and looking at factoring, being able to take a kind of a polynomial expression, be able to break that apart into its little factors and subgroups. So here we go. So the very first problem we're looking at here for factoring is numbers, things that don't have numbers in the front. So here I can see there's no number in the front. Now, one of the processes I like to do is I just want to kind of think about this as breaking these apart into subsets and factor groups. And this is the technique that I find that works extremely efficient. What goes in this very first blank, all I want to do is the factors of my first term. So the first blank is just what's the factors of the first term, right? So what do those make up? So I know this has to be 1x and this has to be 1x. What has to go in the second blank has to be factors of the last term. So what goes in these blanks has to be whatever the factors of 63 are. So let's go ahead and make a little table or figure out what are all the possible factors of 63. All right, so here are all the factors of 63, either 1 and 63, 3 and 21, or 9 and 7. Let's just try a couple of these. I'm just going to, for kicks and giggles right now, try 9 and 7. Now, if I cross multiply these, here that's going to give me 7x, here that's going to give me 9x. Is there a way we want to be able to make a negative 16 with these? Absolutely. So in order to make a negative 9x, this has to be a negative 9, this has to be a negative 7. So therefore this is x minus 9 and x minus 7. So this factors down to x minus 9 and x minus 7, and there is our answer. Quick and easy. Alright, so for this next problem, let's do the exact same technique. Now, a lot of times when you guys had a number in the front, it would go through a little bit more like guess and check type of process, and sometimes it'd take a little bit longer. So what I want to do is be able to first write down what are the factors of the first. Well, the nice thing about this one, the only options are 5p and p for this first term. Well, for the other one, for 18, let's see, what are all the possible factors? Well, I got 1 and 18, 2 and 9, or 3 and 6. So it has to be one of those. So let's just kind of try a different variety. Let's see what actually works. So if I put a 3 here and a 6 there, and if I cross multiply that, that gives me 30 and 3. There's no way to get a negative 1. So 3 and 6 doesn't work in that order. If I flip them around, let's just see what happens if I put the 6 here and the 3 there. Then that gives me 15 and that gives me 6. And there's still no way to get a negative 1 by adding or subtracting. But what happens if I try the 2 and the 9? So let's see. Let's try the 2 and the 9. So if I put the 2 here and the 9 there and then cross multiply, I get a 10, and I'm just ignoring the letter, and 9. Now, is there a way to make a negative 1? Absolutely. We know that 9 minus 10 gives me a negative 1. So 5 times 2 has to be negative, and 9 times p has to be positive, and there is our answer, 5p plus 9. And p minus 2. A little bit faster than doing factor by grouping. Can, but this way is just faster and probably a little more error proof. Okay, so let's try that same exact technique here. So if I look, all right, well, factors of the first term have to go in the first blank. Well, the only factors of 7x have to be 7x and x because it's a prime number. Factors of 20, well, I know 20 has to be what, 1 and 20, 2 and 10, or 4 and 5. So let's see, we want to get up to a 31. So let's try maybe 5 and 4 and just see, does that work? If I cross multiply that, then 7 times 5 is 35, and this I have the 4. And is there a way to make a negative 31? Absolutely, this has to be negative. So 7 times 5 has to be negative 5. So it has to be negative, and this has to be positive. And there is our answer. 7x plus 4 and x minus 5. Much, much, much faster, a lot easier. Remember, the only trick here is that you just have to cross multiply to give you the pieces at the bottom. And then just make sure that they add or subtract. So they either have to add or subtract, right, in order to make the middle term, right? So pause the video. At this point, I want you to try this one out and see if you've gotten the right answer, or you can just check with me during class. I'll fast forward to the video. But pause it, try it on your own if you haven't already done so. All right, so once again, factors of the first term, 2b and b. That's the only way to be able to do that. And factors of 21, only options are 1 and 21 or 3 and 7. So I just tried 3 and 7 and cross multiply that. That gives me 14. And 3, can I make out of 14 and 3 make a 17 by adding or subtracting? Absolutely. 14 plus 3 gives me 17. So my answer 2b plus 3 and b plus 7. And here is our answer. And we are done. And that is it for factoring. Have a great day.